Taurus, what is up? Thank you so much for tuning in. I am Deborah. This is Purusha Intuitive. Welcome. I might have made it more complicated. I get tripped up on my own words and expressions, etc. Ooh, okay. So let's look. So Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Cross watchers are welcome. I'm doing this the last week of December, so end of year reading, but I do believe the messages are timeless. If it resonates with you, then it's meant for you. All right, Taurus, let's look and see. What's the dealio, yo? Happy holidays, everyone. I hope they're going well. Sending lots of love and blessings. All right, Taurus. Okay. All right, House of Cards. So, oh, Hand of Cards. I always think it's a House of Cards. That's what it reminds me of. It's a Freudian slip, right? But there is relevance in that because, you know, okay, so Hand of Cards, this is kind of, you know, holding your options close to you, not specifically revealing what options you have, being strategic. But this is also coming out of that energy, Taurus, of like making sure that you're building a foundation that's firm, you know, and actually makes sense to what you're trying to grow and build. That House of Cards, we all know, that can fall flat on our face in ways that we didn't really want it to. It looks like you're taking a lot of time for yourself. And there is some reflection on the past. So I kind of hear this as you, ooh, yeah. So there's been, what this is basically saying is there's been changes, right? You're dealing with a relationship that is probably over, or it feels like it's over, at least as of right now. And you're reflecting on that. I feel like you're reflecting on places that, and granted, this can be the other person's energy. Ten of Swords. So this is actually a situation, a position that you found yourself in before, you know? Perhaps you were being a little sneaky or scandalous about the situation. And you're kind of like, what I'm hearing is like nurturing yourself through that self-indulgence as a distraction or coping mechanism. You're kind of having to look at yourself. The harder aspects, right? The shadow work, the places that we don't specifically like to show to other people or pretend like we don't have. We don't even like showing it to ourselves, right? But this situation, this relationship from the past is kind of triggering a lot of this stuff for you. It's bringing up a lot and it's making you look at things and reevaluate. So you might have reached out to this person or situation. It does show this offer coming through, right? But them not really paying attention to it is how I'm hearing. Whatever this Six of Coins is. So Six of Coins, it's reciprocity, it's balance, equal give and take. In the negative side, it can be kind of holding things over someone's head, right? And that kind of confirms what we were talking about in the overarching energy, you know? This person might feel like you're dangling carrots or you're holding things against them. Like I said, the energy can be reversed. This can be you feeling this from the other person. But I kind of feel like, you know, like I said, this is a message of love. This is reaching out to someone, trying to kind of have that fresh start, but also recognizing that maybe you took it for granted. Maybe you thought things would blow over. And I feel like in some ways, yeah, they haven't. Because this person is definitely like on the defensive, and especially when it comes to you, it feels like they're like whipping you away with their stick. You know, that's kind of how I hear it, if that makes sense. That's why I'm laughing. And not obviously at your situation. I know that these things aren't easy, right? But they're on the defensive, you know, there's a lot of Wands energy coming from them. They're also very emotional about what's going on. There's a lot of deep feelings about the situation from their end. And I feel like, yeah, there's that confirmation on that, right? So they're looking at it like they're trying to protect their home, their family, what they've built. And they want to make sure that whatever happens between you two moving forward is coming from this space of grounding. But it is messing with them. There's a lot of emotions. There's a lot of fears. You know, sometimes with the King of Cups energy is we can let our emotions get the best of us, right? They can suck us down, you know. And you're really coming from that space, Taurus, of kind of doing what's highest and best for you, you know. You are defining your autonomy, separating yourself in a way. This is coming out of you trying to stand your ground, have the power. I mean, this is a really nice energy for you, honestly. Let me get it situated. The Chariot is our empowerment. It's being on the right course. It's like Nine of Pentacles. It's appreciating our abundance, what we've worked hard for from that Eight of Pentacles. And I feel like there is strategy behind, you know, this situation. You were strategizing, you were kind of planning, right? You were hoping that your arrow hit the right mark. And there's those moons up above. I feel like maybe you were trying to teach this person a lesson. You were trying to stand in your power, like I said. But there was fault around, like it's, I don't know, it wasn't, I think there's a little bit more clarity about, you know, kind of what actions you chose. This is basically saying that you need to take a step back and really look at how you navigated everything. Maybe you were coming from this perspective of like, well, this is best for this person, for this situation, and this is what we need to do. And this is how I'm going to get them to see. But you're not taking that step back to understand, was this really, like you kind of tap into more of that rational energy. The King of Swords is, you know, it's the pro and cons list, basically. Do the pros outweigh the cons? And I feel like in this situation, they didn't. And that's where this person, you know, is feeling like things aren't balanced, things aren't fair. They're on the defensive. They've cut you off. They're kind of doing their own thing. They're very defensive, very self-protected at this point. Let's look at that a little deeper. Yeah. Places that they're cultivating their own happiness, right? Their abundance. There's people involved, but I mean, I feel like the main dynamic is between you and this other person. I do see other people involved. Maybe other people got involved and it kind of, you know, made the situation a little bit more messy. But you, like, at the same time, Taurus, it's showing that you refuse to talk about it. You're not putting energy, time, investment into that anymore. And it's actually, you know, probably making the situation a little bit worse. because you do feel this person walking away from you. You do feel that this end is in sight, you know. If you guys haven't completely separated ways yet, there is kind of this undertone where you're feeling like, you know, and that kind of goes back to you avoiding with this self-indulgence, looking at the past, but not specifically looking at how you were showing up. And no shade, you know, we all make choices, are the best choices we can given the circumstance and the situation. But you're watching this person walk away, it's stressing you out, but you're just sitting on it, right? With that Four of Swords energy, you're not necessarily, because again, in your mind, what you did was the right thing, you know? This is a very like strong energy. It's very strong. It's very self-empowered. It's very grounded. You made a choice. You made a decision, what you thought was highest and best. But it actually was the way it's showing up, Taurus, unfortunately, is it was only best for you and not specifically for this person, for this dynamic. It was about your own kind of ego gratification. And it wasn't coming from a bad place. It doesn't look like that. Like, I don't see that you were evil and manipulative per se, but it's coming out of like ignorance, almost ignorance for the other person, for everyone involved. So there, I mean, I do like, it does show that there is going to be some type of communication coming through. I feel like this is coming from your end. Reaching out to them, kind of figuring out where you guys are at. Is there a way to work this out, work through this, come back together? You're trying to show up more on their team, right? You guys are talking with this Page of Swords energy, King and Queen of Wands, and that's coming in with that Ace of Wands. So new beginning, fresh start, trying to reignite right wrongs. But there still feels like there's hostility. Like, you guys might have a conversation, you might be able to kind of smooth things out, but there still feels like there's a conflict of energies, like you still are resisting each other, you know? Maybe you're not fully disclosing what you think, what you feel, maybe you're appeasing them a little bit. So just be mindful. If, however you showed up earlier, right, before, what started all of this, what triggered this whole situation, I would encourage you to take a moment and really kind of delineate whether or not handling it in this way is appropriate, right? So the broom is kind of like that clearing out, starting fresh. There might have been, a little bit of addiction involved with the flask and the empty cup. There's a sneaky, I mean, sorry guys, this is kind of a rough reading. So yeah, I mean, I feel like if you want this situation to heal and evolve, you guys kind of have to start over, start fresh. But honestly, there's not a lot of authenticity that's showing up in this reading. It shows your thoughts, how you think it should be versus them. And this is, like kind of where we find our codependency mechanisms, right? It's also about perspective. is the cup empty or is it full, right? And what do you fill your cup with? And how do you, kind of support yourself throughout these types of situations? And if there is, like we have this self-indulgence, if there is a tendency to use substance as that way to cope, that's going to also change the perspective on what's going on in the dynamic. So we want to be really mindful. We want to be careful and make sure that we're not boxing people, places, things into certain limitations, because you have a very specific idea about what this situation is. And maybe, I don't know, you got to check within yourself, but it also shows that that's not necessarily the whole truth. So I would encourage you to just explore a little bit deeper, especially if you plan on reaching out to this person. Before you do so, it needs a little bit more balancing and working in harmony, which that is possible. You just want to make sure that your motivations are in the right place always, right? So I hope that helps, Taurus. I am sorry that you're going through this. Sending lots of love and blessings. If you want me to look into your personal situation, I would totally love to be a support and help in whatever way. Check out the description box below on what I offer. Definitely make sure, like, share, subscribe. You know the drill. Lots of love and blessings. Thanks for tuning in.